Hello, my name's Mike Ashcraft, and this is why 90s Jeep Cherokees are bad investments. Well, the first thing, the core of any vehicle, starting with the frame, on these Jeep Cherokees, they are what's called a unibody. And what it is, it's intricate parts of sheet metal that are stamped and welded and glued together. And what this does, it allows less weight but more strength, but as time has advanced, unibody structures become much more tense. Like they can handle more stress without flexing. See, one of the main problems with these 90s Jeep Cherokees is that the frame is essentially, it's like a wet noodle. And what everyone does, they put big tires, they go off-road, they go over big rocks, they flex the thing, and you'll start having issues from the chassis flex. One of the first things you'll have issues with is the windshield. From the frame twisting around and the windshield being set inside the frame, it'll flex and it'll pop it out and it'll start to leak. Once it starts to leak, it starts raining down on the floor whenever it gets wet, and it starts ruining all the carpet. It rusts out the floorboards, and essentially it becomes catastrophic from there. You can't stop it. It's like cancer. I've gone through all these problems myself with this truck behind me. It's a 99 Jeep Cherokee. Starting with the frame, it was a good design at the time, but we're just so far ahead nowadays on our structural design that it's almost obsolete. And another issue with the frame is the corrosion or rust proofing. These trucks, they didn't really spend a lot of money trying to make them last, and so what you'll have issues with is a lot of rust. And another thing that accelerates is when you're off-roading or you have big tires that stick outside the fenders. It throws rocks up on the paint, it chips them, it exposes the raw metal, it starts to rust, and it rusts from the inside out, and then before you know it, you're Flintstoning it like me. If you drop your phone, it's gone. There's a giant hole in the floor. And there's issues from end to end, top to bottom on these trucks. Otherwise, the motors, they're actually pretty reliable, but everything around them, any of the sensors or anything that an engineer got a hold of for a little too long, become issues. And stock form, right out of the factory, these Jeeps are a perfect system, but that's another issue. You cannot find stock ones anymore. Everyone wants to turn them into some monster truck. And what happens is, when you start pushing the limits of the design, you put larger tires, more lift, you're putting more stress on this weak frame that this thing is designed around. It was designed to be made cheaply and quickly. And having a stamped unibody frame, it fills both those boxes. And with these trucks, I mean, they have great features, but as time has passed, they've just become more of a poor investment at the time. They become absolutely a money pit. I've probably sunk, if you include the price I paid for the truck and the tires and the winches and the bumpers and the ball joints and the bearings and everything that goes bad on the front end. The steering is also another issue on these trucks. It's a really light duty steering. It wasn't designed for large 30 plus inch tires. You wouldn't believe the multiplication of force that is put on the front ends of these trucks. Actually, if you start getting wider tires on them and going from there and so on, you start stressing the frame so much that it starts to crack. And right where the steering box is on these trucks, they will crack, and it's pretty much unusable unless you weld it, patch it, repair it. And it's just one of many issues that is with the 90s Jeep Cherokee. And what you find is, no matter what you do, there's always something else that is wrong with them. And you'll never get ahead. Believe me, I work on all my stuff. I've fixed this thing and patched it together a million times, and there's still yet more to go. I mean, the check engine light's been on for so long it burned out the bulbs. So if that gives you any idea. And yes, I know how to fix them. It's just I can't keep up with them. If you let them sit, the problems appear, and it's just amazing. I've never had anything that's quite like this. And so I will definitely say, whatever you do, unless you absolutely have more time than I do, more money than sense, or you are just You were just bored and you're just some master mechanic. Yeah, go buy one. But other than that, terrible decision. I regret it. I mean, I love the thing. I know it's contradictory. I love it. I can't get rid of it. But this is just fair warning to anyone out there. Just if you value your time and money, and don't don't enjoy immense amounts of frustration and getting stranded or breaking down or rolling over or something going wrong today. I mean, if you always want something to complain about, buy a '90s Jeep Cherokee. But other than that, do not. Don't do that. Thanks.